weaving the invisible into the tangible. The true test of any philosophy lies not in its elegance, but in its application, how it alters the texture of daily existence. Thought vibration is not meant to remain an ethereal theory shimmering in the realm of abstraction. It demands embodiment. To wield the law of attraction effectively, one must bridge the gap between cosmic principle and concrete action, between the unseen frequency of thought and the visible rhythms of life. The art of mental housekeeping. Imagine your mind as a home. Just as physical clutter accumulates dust on the shelves, old clothes piled in corners, so too does mental debris gather. Unresolved worries, stagnant resentments, half-formed doubts. Atkinson's first practical injunction is to become a vigilant custodian of this inner space. This begins with awareness. Most people operate on autopilot, allowing thoughts to drift in and out unchallenged, like leaves blown into an open window. The practitioner of thought vibration, however, learns to observe these intruders. Is this thought aligned with the reality I wish to create? Does it carry the frequency of fear or faith, lack or abundance? The next step is cultivation and culling. Just as a gardener weeds to make room for desired plants, we must deliberately nurture thoughts that resonate with our aims and prune those that do not. This is not about forced positivity, but about conscious selection. For example, if financial abundance is the goal, one might replace money is always a struggle with opportunities flow to me effortlessly, not as empty affirmation, but as a gradual recalibration of belief. The ritual of focused visualization. Atkinson emphasizes that thought must be charged to become magnetic. A passing whim lacks power. A concentrated mental image, infused with emotion, acts as a beacon. Here, the practice of visualization becomes crucial. Consider the athlete who mentally rehearses a perfect performance. Each neural pathway fired in imagination strengthens its real-world counterpart. Similarly, daily visualization of desired outcomes, vivid, sensory-rich, and emotionally charged, primes the mind to recognize and attract corresponding opportunities. The key is consistency. 5 minutes of focused visualization, done daily with unwavering belief, is more potent than hours of sporadic effort. The discipline of emotional alignment. Thought alone is not enough. It is the emotional charge behind thought that gives it traction. Anxiety about a goal undermines it as surely as a ship's anchor dragging through sand. Thus, Atkinson urges practitioners to cultivate emotional states that match their desires now, not as future rewards. For instance, if seeking love, one must first embody the joy, security, and expansiveness that love brings, not as a performance, but as a genuine inner shift. This might involve small but deliberate actions, savoring moments of connection with friends, practicing self-kindness, or even adjusting posture and speech to reflect confidence rather than longing. Over time, these micro-shifts alter one's vibrational signature, making the desired reality inevitable. The power of environmental resonance, while internal work is paramount. Atkinson acknowledges that external environments can amplify or dampen thought vibrations. Surroundings act as mirrors and multipliers. A cluttered, chaotic space reinforces scattered thinking. An orderly, beautiful one supports clarity and aspiration. Practical steps here might include curating input, reducing exposure to negativity, news, toxic conversations, and increasing exposure to inspiration books, art, nature, symbolic anchors, placing objects in one's environment that reflect desired states a vase of fresh flowers to evoke growth, a vision board to solidify goals, rituals of alignment, simple daily acts, lighting a candle with intention, morning gratitude journaling that serve as tuning forks for the mind, navigating the silent period. A common stumbling block is the lapse between sowing a thought and reaping its manifestation. During this interval, doubt often creeps in. Atkinson likens this to planting a seed and digging it up daily to check for roots, a sure way to ensure it never grows. The solution lies in trust and occupation. Trust that the universe operates on its own timeline. Occupation means engaging fully in the present while holding the vision lightly. For example, an entrepreneur visualizing success must still take grounded action, networking, studying, refining products, but without desperate attachment to immediate outcomes. This balance between focus and surrender is where magic unfolds. The ripple effect in relationships, thought vibration profoundly impacts interpersonal dynamics. We unconsciously emit frequencies that others pick up, often at a subconscious level. A person vibrating with insecurity may attract manipulative partners. One radiating self-worth repels them. Practical application here involves self-observation, noticing how others respond to you. Are you consistently attracting dismissive colleagues, competitive friends? Their behavior may be mirroring your own hidden beliefs about your worth. Energetic boundaries, visualizing a shield of light to deflect negativity while remaining open to positive connections. Projection shifts, consciously sending thoughts of goodwill rather than suspicion or resentment to difficult people, which can subtly alter the relationship dynamic. From scarcity to flow, financial vibrations. Is the law of attraction more scrutinized and more often misunderstood than in finances? Atkinson warns against the scarcity loop. Obsessing over lack only perpetuates it. Instead, he advocates for a flow mindset. Practical steps include language shifts, replacing "I can't afford this" with "How can I align with abundance?" Generosity practice, giving small amounts freely, tipping well, donating to signal trust in circulation. Gratitude audits, daily acknowledging existing resources, a meal, a warm bed to amplify their vibrational presence. The lifelong practice. Atkinson frames thought vibration not as a quick fix, but as a lifelong discipliner, refinement of consciousness akin to mastering an instrument. There will be off days, discordant notes, but the practitioner persists, knowing each aligned thought is a stroke in the masterpiece of their reality. Let us now descend from the stars, trailing strands of cosmic insight, and walk barefoot upon the soil of daily life. For the grandeur of Atkinson's thought vibration, philosophy means little if it cannot anchor itself. In our kitchen conversations, our morning commutes, our moments of self-doubt before a mirror or a meeting. The heavens speak in symbols, yes, but life asks us to translate that starlight into speech, into action, into clarity of choice. So how does one live this law? Not as abstraction, but as integration. Begin with awareness, the simplest yet most elusive of practices. Thought, Atkinson tells us, is the first cause. But how many thoughts pass through the mind unnoticed, like shadows flickering behind closed eyelids? The mind, when left unguarded, is like a garden overrun by when-sown seeds, some flowering into beauty, others twisting into thorns. To live, the law of attraction is to awaken in this garden and become gardener again. Not with fear, not with frantic effort, but with quiet vigilance. As the sun rises, notice. What is your first thought? Is it a thought of gratitude, of presence, of possibility? Or is it a thought of dread, of burden, of lack? The very tone of that opening thought is a brushstroke on the canvas of your day. Atkinson suggests that such tones are not incidental. They are initiatory. They broadcast into the unseen and draw back energies in sympathetic harmony. Thus, your first task is not to change the outer world, but to become sensitive to your thought tone. Begin there. Begin always there. Now walk into your day and see how the law expresses itself in subtle ways. You greet someone with warmth, and you receive warmth in return. Not always, but often enough that the pattern becomes clear. You enter a room filled with tension and find your shoulders tightening before a word is spoken. What is this but the vibrational exchange of unseen, emotional frequencies? What Atkinson offers is a way to consciously influence this field, not through manipulation, but through genuine alignment. Your internal state is not just yours, it radiates. It instructs the world how to meet you. Take the example of a person seeking a new job. If their thought is, "No one will want to hire me," then no matter how polished the resume, something in their posture, their tone, their energy will carry that vibration. Conversely, the person who holds a steady inner belief, "I have something valuable to offer," will project that confidence, subtly but powerfully, into every interaction. Atkinson would say that the universe responds not to mere motion, but to inner momentum. It is not effort that attracts opportunity, but energetic congruence. The world does not just hear what you listens to what you vibrate. The implications stretch into every sphere: relationships, health, finances, creativity. The partner who constantly worries they will be abandoned may unconsciously behave in ways that create distance, feeding the very outcome they dread. The artist who believes they are unworthy of success may never fully release their work, thus ensuring obscurity. The person obsessed with debt may miss opportunities to build wealth because their inner radar is tuned only to lack. These are not punishments, they are fulfillments of inner vibration. Life follows thought like a ship obeying its rudder, but here is where Atkinson's teaching shifts from observation to empowerment. If thought is the beginning, then change can begin immediately. One need not wait for outer conditions to improve. The moment you begin to think differently, to hold a vision of health instead of illness, abundance instead of limitation, love instead of loneliness, you begin to re-script the magnetic field surrounding you. Results may not appear instantly, but they begin to stir, like wind touching the surface of a still lake. The ripples spread. The universe listens. To do this consistently, however, requires more than occasional inspiration. It requires discipline of the invisible kind. The mind must be trained like a lens, brought again and again into focus. When fear intrudes, not crushed, but observed and redirected. When doubt arises, not denied, but replaced with truth. This is not about denial, it is about direction. Atkinson never suggests pretending life is perfect. He suggests affirming what you choose to cultivate. There is a difference between lying to yourself and realigning yourself, and tools exist for this realignment. Affirmation, for instance, when spoken with conviction, can become a vibrational tuning fork. Not empty repetition, but felt declaration. I am in harmony with abundance. I radiate confidence. I attract loving relationships. These statements are not spells, but recalibrations. They tune the inner atmosphere so that outer conditions may respond in kind. Likewise, visualization is not mere fantasy, but the use of imagination as a creative engine to see oneself succeeding, loving, healing, thriving, is to construct an energetic mold into which reality can flow. Even in moments of trial, the law of attraction does not abandon its function. In fact, it becomes most visible when tested. When difficulty arrives, Atkinson would not have us panic or sink into despair. He would have us ask, what vibration within me might this reflect? What opportunity is life offering to reattune? Pain becomes diagnostic. Circumstance becomes curriculum. Every challenge is a call to refine the frequency we hold, and in time, as the practice deepens, the evidence grows. You begin to notice how certain moods attract certain people, how your internal shifts seem to coincide with sudden turns in fortune. You see the synchronicities, the way life begins to feel like a conversation instead of a monologue. The universe becomes not hostile or indifferent, but responsive, like an echo chamber that magnifies whatever tone you set. In that moment, the law of attraction ceases to be a concept. It becomes a lived rhythm, a heartbeat, a way of being. Ultimately, Atkinson offers not merely a technique but a worldview, a way to walk through the world as a conscious vibrational being, shaping experience from the inside out. He asks us to claim authorship over our thoughts, not as tyrants, but as artists crafting inner harmonies that draw outer symphonies. This is not about control. It is about coherence. Not about getting what we want in childish terms, but about aligning with what we are truly prepared to receive. So live as if your thoughts matter, because they do. Speak as though your words ripple into the fabric of the world, because they do. Feel as though your inner world creates atmosphere, because it does. In every moment, you are broadcasting, and the world is answering.